I got all these items for $35 from Amazon, and I'm going to be making 3 fall inspired meals that are very easy to make, so please join me. Welcome to the Bold Encourager Kitchen. I'm Rebecca. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new to this channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button so we can get these fun, easy recipes out to everyone. Today we're going to be using these items that I bought on Amazon for $35 so I could get the free shipping. I know some of you probably don't have Prime. I don't. So I spent $35 so I could get the free shipping, and then I could make 3 meals that are super easy for you to make. They're pretty much going to be the dump and the bake kind of recipes. So we're going to first start off with what we would make for breakfast. Then I'm going to share a lunch recipe, and then I'm going to share a dinner recipe. Okay, so you probably have seen the recipe where you use the spice cake mix and you use the pumpkin, and that's it. And that's an easy recipe. I know it'd be just easy just to dump those 2 things and go, but I wanted to share something different with you. So I wanted to do, as you can see on the back, it requires usually water, 3 large eggs, and vegetable oil. Now what we're gonna do as a hack, we're gonna be able to replace the eggs with the pumpkin. And so there's 3 large eggs, so you do a 1/4 cup for each egg whenever you're doing a recipe like this. You can use any kind of fruit puree. You can even use just the applesauce if you wanted to, but we're doing pumpkin. And so then for the oil, the half cup of oil, I'm going to do half of the applesauce, and I'm going to do half of the mayo. Now you were like, mayo, what? Mayo is actually great because it makes it have a homemade flavor for the recipe. As crazy as it sounds, it works, and it is delicious. I've had a mayo cake when I was younger and it worked great. It tastes like a vanilla cake but had a homemade flavor to it, and it actually was something I learned in home ec when I was in elementary school, so it was great. But we're going to go ahead and mix these items. So in this case, we're going to need one of these. We're going to need 3/4 cup of pumpkin. We're going to need a 1/4 cup of the applesauce and a 1/4 cup of the mayo. So this is going to be fun, and it's going to be even more interesting because it's not just these 2 items, but it's still really easy to make. It'll take you about 5 minutes to prepare. So not a biggie, maybe even less time. So you want to preheat your oven at 350 degrees. Now we're going to start mixing everything together. Okay, so we put the cake mix in the bowl, and now we're going to add the pumpkin, and we're going to do 3/4 cup. It's easy with the ingredients because all we're doing is using the 1/4 cup for all of these different ingredients. I'm going to use the rest of the pumpkin in other recipes, or even use it in oatmeal or something like that. So it's fun because you can do a lot with the extra pumpkin. I mean, you don't, that way it's not just one recipe you're using it on, you're using it on multiple recipes because it is the fall season, so you want to use pumpkin in multiple recipes. So let's go ahead and stir that up. That is just the pumpkin with the cake mix being stirred up. So a 1/4 cup goes in there of the applesauce. We're going to stir that up. And this is going to be the last ingredient. So I'm curious to find out what you liked most about fall. Would you comment down below what your favorite thing is about fall? That would be awesome. I'd love to know. And I'd like to interact with you a little bit more, so I'd love reading your comments. So if you don't mind commenting below, I would love that. And so let's go ahead and mix this up really nicely. As you can see, we're getting there. Mixing really, I mean, you could use a beater, an egg beater. I have one. But that makes more mess, right? So this is a little easier just to stir it up with a spoon. I'm gonna be using bread pans today. You can use a regular cake pan, not a problem, but this would be my preference to just make it more like a pumpkin bread, so it makes more sense for breakfast because we're kind of eating cake for breakfast. But with these ingredients, it's low calorie, it's not a lot of calories, that's why you won't feel so guilty. So let's start with the bigger pan. So the lesser the pans, the better, right? So we're gonna spray this. It's thick, it's ready to go, it's in there, it's only like halfway full, and it should rise a little higher, obviously. But then we'll have pumpkin bread. So I'm gonna put it in the oven right now. So we're gonna leave it in there for 25 to 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna cut a piece and enjoy it with you. So please stay tuned. So this is the pumpkin bread I'm about to try. It just came out of the oven. It's nice and piping hot. So I'm ready to eat the pumpkin bread. I'm excited about this. I'm gonna see if all those hacks paid off and let you know what I think. This is really good. It had that really delicious pumpkin taste with the spice, because the spice cake. And then also it has a little bit of the agave syrup that I put on with a little bit of butter. Just so it's not dry. It has that homemade flavor like I wanted. It has a little bit of that, you know, with the apple kind of flavor, just a hint of it with the pumpkin. Oh my goodness, this is so good. Make this. You're gonna totally enjoy this. This is really good. I could definitely eat this this whole plate and the whole bread pan. For lunch, we're gonna do something even more simple because we're doing a casserole. So you wanna preheat your oven for 375 degrees. What we're doing is a tuna potato chip casserole. Now we're using multiple potato chips, but it sounds better, tuna potato chip casserole versus potato chips casserole, I don't know. But we're gonna have fun with this. I love having tuna, you know, for lunch and stuff, so I think it's a great thing to put in a casserole. But instead of adding pasta and everything, that gets too heavy and we don't want to get too many carbs going. So we're gonna mix all these items. We got jalapenos, chili, that gives it more flavor, right? And then of course we got cream mushroom, we got 3 cans of tuna, we have onion soup and dip. It's the Amazon one, and all these mostly are Amazon because they're a cheaper one. And this is the fire roasted diced tomatoes, and of course a bag of potato chips, and these are all Amazon product. So we're gonna basically throw everything in here and then top it with the potato chips. We don't need the whole bag of potato chips, just a single layer is good enough. You usually can just use one small bag of potato chips, but I figured, you know, for the casserole, as we're eating lunch, you could just be dipping the chips in the casserole dish so that it continues to have the crunchiness and the fun part of dipping chips into some kind of dip. But this is going to be a casserole dish instead. Now of course you want to drain all of these things. The tuna, drain them out in your sink. Also drain out, not the mushroom soup, but drain out the diced jalapenos. You don't want the liquid because it's going to make it very soupy. Same thing with the diced chilies. There's a little bit of liquid in there, and then the diced tomatoes. So drain everything out before putting it. So I dumped the tuna in first. Now we're going to add this cream of mushroom soup. Now you want to use as many diced chilies and diced jalapenos as you can handle. If you're not a huge spicy person, don't put too much in there, and you can always use mild as an option for the chilies and the jalapenos. The chilies happen to be mild, so not a big deal, but the jalapenos happen to be hot, so you might want to add less of those jalapenos, or maybe none if you're not a huge spicy person. So I'm mixing these together really nicely, and then I'm going to add some of this onion sauce. I mean, you don't want to get too crazy and over salt it, but it gives it good flavor. You always want flavor, you know. I might save this for the other half for the last recipe. Yeah, I'm just going to mix this up. You got your fire roasted tomatoes. I don't need all these fire roasted tomatoes. I probably need like 4 ounces of this, which is just a little bit of the top. 4 ounces of the tomato thing would be about 1/3 of the can. I'm gonna put not all these diced jalapenos just because it is hot. I like spicy, but not burning my mouth hot. So I might just add maybe half of these in here. I'm just gonna add it with a little spoon just so I don't overdo it. Okay, then I'm just gonna mix this all up. It's looking good. I think this is gonna be really good. Look at that. Look at that. All that color, the red with the green. Now we're gonna put a thin little layer of these on before we put it in the oven, which is at 375 degrees. This is the tuna potato chip casserole ready to go in the oven, which is set at 375 degrees. As you can see, it has the bottom layer with the tuna and the vegetables there, and here we have the beautiful potato chip on top. It's ready to go in the oven. It's going to go in there for 20 minutes with foil on top, and then we're at the last 10 minutes we're going to take the foil off so these don't get burnt. So we do have to cover the top with foil when we put it in for the first 20 minutes. And after that, we're going to take the foil off. I've covered it with foil. I'm going to put it in the oven for 20 minutes, take it out for the last 10 minutes, and let it bake at the 375 degrees. And then the total cooking time is 30 minutes. So now the tuna potato chip casserole is done. As you can see, it's a little golden brown. It smells delicious, it looks amazing. I'm ready to eat my potato chip tuna casserole. And I'm saying you can dip them in your chips into this casserole and take a good big bite out of it. And you can just use more of the chips. It's gonna be delicious. I'm telling you right now, the jalapeno and the chilies is what gives this the flavor. That little bit of spice, that little bit of that kick is what gives us all the flavor. And it's so tasty. It's not so plain. Without it, I don't know if I would like it as much. And I'm telling you right now, this is something that you could eat any time of the day. Now we're gonna make a stuffing chicken casserole. So I'm really excited about this because it reminds me of Thanksgiving. This is definitely the fall, but you don't have to wait for the turkey, which takes forever, to make this casserole. So it's kind of nice because we got canned chicken. All these items are pantry safe, so perfect, makes it easier. I have everything ready to go to pour everything in, just dump it in and get it going. But first off, what I need to do is the stuffing, and hot water is usually what you would do to the stuffing casserole, but I decided I wanted to use chicken broth instead. So I'm gonna add my stuffing to the bowl. You want 6 ounces of stuffing mix, which is what the box usually is. And then you're gonna add 1/4 cup of hot chicken broth, and you're gonna let it sit. I feel like it gives it more flavor to do chicken broth versus water. So you're gonna wanna fluff this up with a fork and just let it sit for 5 minutes while we're dumping everything else. So this is gonna sit here for about 5 minutes so it's all fluffed up and ready to go. And so usually you want that kind of, I warmed up the chicken broth for a minute. We're gonna go ahead and add all the other things while we're waiting for this to sit. And so we're gonna start with adding the chicken. So I'm gonna use 2 cans of this 12.5 ounce of chicken, canned chicken. I got the Swanson one, and I'm gonna just put everything in here. Okay, so you're gonna wanna spread the chicken out really nicely so it covers the bottom. I wanted to do half cream of mushroom and half cream of chicken. So you could do just all cream of chicken, but I want to add more flavor. So I did half cream of chicken, and I'm going to reserve the other half for another recipe. So go ahead and add that. I'm going to add the other half is going to be the cream of mushroom. So it's going to have a lot of flavor here. And then we're going to add 1/3 cup of mayo. Then we're going to add a can of mixed vegetables. And those are all drained ahead of time. Then we're going to stir this up. Makes it really easy. I've already put in some butter on the bottom or margarine, however you want to grease your pan. But make sure you grease your pan with something so it doesn't stick. And then once that's all covered up really nicely, I'm going to add a little bit of this onion soup and dip because I figure this would be a good flavor to add to the bottom of this. And we had half of it remaining from the last recipe. And since it's so thick, I'm just going to add a little bit of chicken broth to this, just because typically you would want to use some kind of milk or something like that, but we're going to add chicken broth. And I would just sprinkle a little bit on the top, so I'd say about maybe 1/4 cup, and then stir it around so that the bottom is all well mixed in. This is gonna be really good. Once that's all in there, then you can add the stuffing on top. Okay, now we're gonna take the stuffing and we're gonna smooth it on the top. So you wanna kind of sprinkle it all over, and we're gonna just make sure the whole thing is covered with stuffing. You're gonna preheat your oven for 400 degrees. Put it in there for 30 minutes. And you're just gonna pull it out and have an amazing meal. So this is what it looks like going in. I can't wait to try it when it comes out. Oh my goodness, this looks so delicious. I was very excited to try this recipe specifically, so I'm gonna give this a try. So good. Now, of the day, this is my favorite recipe by far. All of them are really good, but this one is really good. You got all the flavors in there. It's got the creaminess, the like onion flavor, the stuffing flavor. All the flavors combined create such a great, it's like having Thanksgiving dinner in a casserole. So this would be my first favorite one. Second favorite is the pumpkin, and the third favorite, well, the last one is gonna be the tuna casserole. All really good, but this is my first favorite, then pumpkin. And these are all new recipes. I kind of just float around and look at different recipes and try to combine them and make my own recipe out of whatever I make. So all the recipes here are just my own creation, looking at different recipes and seeing if it would be something that I would like to make again. And a lot of times it's just knowing flavor combinations so you can be creative. And that's kind of what I did here. So this was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share, comment, or subscribe. Whatever you can do helps me out so much, so I greatly appreciate it. Also, if you haven't followed me on social media, please follow me on social media. The links are down below. If you haven't hit that notification bell yet, please hit that notification bell and it will notify you every time I post a new video. And there's going to be a lot more casserole dishes that are super easy for you to make that you don't want to miss. So make sure you hit that notification bell. Well, I hope you have an amazing day and I hope you stay encouraged.